Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Hi, this is Gracie Howells with Pilma. Let's hit pause for just a second on this episode because I have to tell you about this event that every forward-thinking PI firm should have on their calendar this January. It's the AI for PI Expo in Orlando, Florida, January 15th through 17th. This is the very first conference of its kind dedicated entirely to showing personal injury firms how to harness AI to save time, cut costs, and grow faster. You'll get hands-on demos, practical training, and access to the best AI solutions built for law firms. Reserve your spot now at pilma.org/AI for PI Expo via the link in the show notes.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the pleasure and honor of having David Arato from Lexicon Legal Content. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Ken. Great to be here.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about Lexicon Legal. I mean, what does it do? How long have you been doing it? Different things like that.
Absolutely. Well, I graduated from St. Louis University School of Law in 2009. And while I was studying for the bar, I started writing SEO-focused content for an agency in St. Louis that no longer exists. And quickly realized that I was pretty good at it, and there was a huge market opportunity to service both law firms and agencies like the one I was working for who were having trouble sourcing high quality, accurate content. So that was 2010. We launched Lexicon officially in 2013. And we create, as I said before, SEO focused, accurate, compliant content for both marketing agencies and law firms throughout North America.
So that's wild you went to law school. So I guess you do know the legal content.
We do.
So
we've got a team of, we've got an attorney editor. Most of our writers are JDs. So our real value add to an agency that doesn't have an in-house content team is ensuring compliance, and to law firms. Let me rewind that. Ensuring compliance and accuracy.
Okay. So when you say compliance, what are you talking about?
Ethical rules. I think it's model rule 4.1. Can't call yourself a specialist in most jurisdictions. You can't call yourself an expert. Can't guarantee outcomes. Material, false or misleading statements. There's always a risk that if you're working with a generalist copywriter or a generalist agency, that they won't know what they don't know.
Right.
I've seen so many law firm websites that say we're experts in personal injury. That's a clear violation of many states' bar rules. And the problem is, again, a generalist doesn't even know that that could even be an issue. So when you're creating content for a law firm, you really need someone with a basic understanding of at least the model rules and specifically the variations of the rules in your jurisdiction.
So, I do a lot of masterminds, talk to a lot of lawyers, and Google talked about, number one, first they said AI content's terrible, don't do it. And then after they invested their money in, I guess it was one of these platforms, then it come around and said, well, it's okay as long as it's good and relevant content. What are you seeing out there? I mean, what's the real deal on this content generated by AI? I mean, I hear people say, you got to be careful. Then you see some people, they'll get Jasper.ai or these other, AI to create content. What do you think? What's the deal?
I think Google has been pretty clear since 2023-ish about the fact that they don't care how content is created so long as it's helpful and it provides value to the reader. In the context of law firms, I think that means, and also, it's got to demonstrate expertise, experience, authority, and trust. EEAT is the acronym, EAT, especially in a highly regulated field like law that could, or finance or medicine, anything that could really affect a person's money or life. So again, I think Google's agnostic about how the content is created. I think what it cares about is whether it's adding value to the reader. That being said, Google's policies are clear about not using AI to automate generating thousands of pages of content that look just like existing content on the internet. which frankly is what you're going to get if you're using ChatGPT or Claude or some other LLM, large language model, to create content, because it's just trained on existing data. So without human input, without giving it new information, without you finding new information to synthesize and put into the content, it's going to look like everything else out there and could be violative of Google's scaled content abuse policies.
Yeah. And I use it to help me do research and sometimes do articles for magazines. But when I like, this is just me personally, I like to ask it to give me an outline, give me a detailed outline. But then I look at the deal out, and then I might want some more information on certain parts of it. But then I can draft it. And sometimes they'll ask me, do I want it to draft it? And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But I think the big deal is to make sure and I always tell it to put it in my voice, because as everybody that listens to me know, I'm a Southern redneck, and I got a big drawl, and I say things like, "What's the deal? Tell us the deal."
Sure. I think it's like having a great assistant to write with when you're creating content. You just can't rely on it, A, to get the law right, B, to get facts right, but it really speeds up. And that's what we've been doing at Lexicon. We're able to create better content more quickly and more cheaply than we used to be able to. But again, in order to get it to rank, which is the point of creating content, written content, you want it to rank at the top of the Google search results, you got to add something to the conversation, whether that's pulling data from your state's Department of Transportation website on accidents, something fresh. Because if it looks like everything else out there, which it will because of its training data, it's not going to rank any higher than anything else. So it's a good starting point. And to your point, outlining is great. If we're rewriting calls to action for a law firm 40 different ways for 40 different pages, it's good at doing stuff like that. But you can't go to it and expect it to put out 1,000 words of original thought leadership content with a basic prompt.
Well, how about AI like ChatGPT-5 or the Perplexity, Claude? I'm seeing some people are starting to use this. I don't know how many. You probably know more than I do, but we were talking about it last month in Montreal at a mastermind meet, and people are saying, lawyers are saying, we got to get ready, for this, because it's coming. I mean, people are already doing it, but it's going to get more and more. How we do SEO to get somebody, I play with it myself. I asked it who had the best masterminds for lawyers in the United States. And luckily it was Pilma, but I have no idea how it did it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad it got the question right. I'm glad to hear that. That's really good news.
No, but I don't know that I did anything intentionally to get, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely. To your point, I think that we all need to learn how to use it in our workflows. I don't practice law, but I've seen, especially in any sort of regulated profession, I've seen, even in Colorado here, some ethical issues with it making up cases that people are submitting briefs with fictitious cases. I saw Texas now is requiring a disclosure if you're using AI in your pleadings. Similarly, like, can you bill for the time ChatGPT is saving you when you're drafting a contract? I think there are a lot of, so for us in content creation, it's pretty straightforward. We can use it to make our jobs easier, faster, create a better value for the client. I think in the practice of law, some really sticky ethical issues come up that I can't really speak to personally, but I've noticed in my observation of the field that all of us have to adopt it, but we all have to be careful too in the way we adopt it. I think the stakes are even higher in the practice.
But getting back to Perplexity, ChatGPT, can an SEO guy do that? Is it you do it with content? How do you get the rank? So
how do we use it? I see what you're asking. So we've created a proprietary model that we're creating content with. I shouldn't say that. We're creating first drafts of content with it. We're using it to outline. We're using it also, one really great use for us, and we use Claude as our favorite in-house, is topic ideation. So let's say we get a client who's doing truck accidents in Colorado, and we want to rank well for those search terms, and we want to create 50 pieces of blog content about truck accidents in Colorado. That's something that we used to have to do manually, and we'd sit down and brainstorm and look at what's ranking and do keyword research. That is a perfect job for ChatGPT or Claude. Give me 50 blog topics that allow us to use the term Colorado truck accident injury attorney or related search terms in a natural way, targeting victims, not targeting victims, targeting searches of victims of truck accidents might search.
How about somebody that's on Chat GPT or Claude and they're looking for a personal injury lawyer? What can we do, or what can you do, or what can SEO guy do to make it where it will come up?
That's a great question. I apologize if I misunderstood it the last time. I think I did.
Okay.
So I think the guidance and we've gotten ourselves into the AI results for terms like legal content provider, white label legal content, very high value search terms for us. And what we've done, and again, this guidance is very similar to the guidance that was related to getting in the featured snippets 5 years ago. Those 0-click results that would appear above the organic results, the guidance is the same. Answer the question quickly at the top of the content, make it snackable, as they say. So answer it right away. Also, we're seeing formatting using header tags, H1, H2, H3, in the content, getting results into the AI overviews as well. So issues like content like listicles or FAQs, if you're answering a question directly, for example, like pretty meta level here, if I was trying to get us to rank for how to get in the AI overviews, I would create an FAQ on how to get my law firm to rank in the AI overviews and answer those questions one by one.
And that would apply to whether it's Chat GPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I mean, much like Google, these guys aren't publishing their algorithms and techniques for the public to see. So, it's a cat and mouse game. You see what works, repeat it, it stops working, figure out what else works.
Yeah. So have you always worked with law firms, or you mostly just work with agencies? And now since you got Chat GPT, you can do more. You can do more.
That's absolutely right. More people are putting out more content. We work both with agencies and law firms. We're happy to work with both. We are also expanding into other regulated professions as well. So we're looking at creating content now as an offshoot brand for financial services, for med spas, for chiropractors, et cetera. So we're trying to leverage our legal compliance expertise into compliance in other fields in content marketing.
Yeah, financial advisors, I know they have a lot of rules, ethics.
Absolutely.
Rules. They have to be
maybe more than the bar. I mean, FINRA's crazy, right?
Yeah, it really it is worse than the bar, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So that's amazing what they can say and can't say in their ads.
That's right.
So how do you think AI is going to change all this stuff? You think it's changing it, or is everything going to be the same?
Well, that's the question, right? I'll tell you what. When ChatGPT came out in December of 2022, and we've been at this for 12 years at this point, at that point, 11 years, I saw it and I played with it and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have to start studying for the Colorado bar, which is where I live and I'm not licensed here. And I was like, I'm going to have to hang up a shingle because this thing is over. And the truth is, none of it, if anything, the existence of generative AI has made our business stronger and created more demand for high quality content creation. And I think it's because so many people are putting out so much, frankly, shitty content, right? They think it's free content now. No effort is required. You go to it, you say, give me 500 words on car accidents, you expect it to rank. Well, to differentiate yourself, you need expert content creators, which is what we are. So my prediction from 3 years ago did not come to pass. We're doing just fine. I mean, maybe the robots are going to take over and we're all going to have to bow down to our robot overlords. I don't know. But it seems to me the way it's going is that you have to be an adopter. You've got to figure out how to put it in your workflow. And AI becomes an assistant. I don't see it taking over completely, at least not in the iterations of LLMs that we're seeing now. That being said, it's super disruptive. It's changed our pricing model completely. Since we're on a legal podcast, I'll bring this up. I wonder what this is going to do to the associate partner regime that we have set up right now. Because ChatGPT can be your first year associate, right? So like, what is that model going to look like in 10 years? Where are the first year law graduates going to work? Is everyone going to be hanging up their own shingle? I don't know.
Well, it's I think you're going to see more and more a lot of AI agents, which means it's like a person, but it's not a person that can do tasks and think.
That's right.
You're going to see more and more of that, and I think that is going to eliminate a lot of jobs. But I think if you're a prompt writer or AI engineer, I think there's plenty of money to be made in the next 10 years.
I think there's a ton of money to be made. I'm worried about, frankly, while we're editorializing here, entry-level positions, I think are really, look, at Lexicon, we have expertise in creating content for law firms. So a generalist copywriter can't do what we do even with these tools, because you got to know what to tell the machine. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about you don't know what you don't know. Can't call yourself an expert in most states. You have to know that information to use these tools. But as an entry-level person, that's the job that I'm worried about, right? Like, what happens to that person that is working under the direction of the expert, right? Like,
Yeah.
ChatGPT now works on the direction of the expert. So those are the jobs I'm most concerned about. But I'm just prognosticating here. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't think none of us know for sure. I mean, it's all, because 2 years ago I said, oh, it's going to make people more productive, but it's not going to take jobs. Well, I was wrong. It is going to take jobs. It's taking jobs. I mean, and it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I agree with that.
And then I hear people say, well, if you take 50 years ago, 30% of the jobs that people were doing 30, 40 years ago, they're not doing now. And then there's probably another 30% more jobs of different types of jobs. It's all evolution, it's evolution.
Yeah. I mean, there are going to be new jobs. You're right. Absolutely. I agree. I mean, it's changed our business. It's transformed our business.
I actually saw a TV commercial today. It says, I think it had a leak in their yard or the pipe. It says, well, AI can't fix this, but we can.
That's right. That's right. That's right. My wife said something. She's like, I wanted the robots to do the laundry and the dishes. Not that she's the only one doing the laundry and the dishes, but she said, I want it. And then let me create art. Well, it's different, right? It's flipped. I'm still doing dishes, but now AI is writing poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Wow. So anything else you want to share with our listeners or our viewers?
Well, you can reach us at www.lexiconlegalcontent.com. You can email me directly at david@lexiconlegalcontent.com. We're all over LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. You can find us there. And if you need some help with your law firm content, whether you're an agency or a law firm, we'd love to help you and have that conversation.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I appreciate it. And hopefully our paths will meet again down the road.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.